Hey there, welcome to another episode of bAw Uncensored. My name is Larissa and you are joined by Sonia and Rumbi too. If you don't already know, where have you been? We're a couple of episodes into the season, and if you're here for the very first time, we are the ladies behind the Black African Woman, which is a movement that's geared at helping the Black African woman feel seen and heard and inspired. And what we do with bAw Uncensored every single episode is basically talk about the things that are on our minds, sometimes light, sometimes serious. And we hope that you've been enjoying some of the conversations that we've had. We see your feedback. Those of you who've been watching, Madu's #1 fan, like you guys, there's Madu's.
Real MVP.
And then there's the rest of y'all, okay? So special shout out.
Savage. What are you trying to say?
Listen, these are facts, okay? So
no, it's facts, bruh.
Listen, these are facts. So it's my dudes and then the rest of y'all, okay? We still love you, but my dudes, special space in my heart. So ladies, how are you doing?
Good. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Another day, another dollar. What?
Exhausted, but we are here.
We are here. We are all exhausted. We're all just like, but now we're here. We're all asleep, but we're here. And today we are having an interesting discussion. I mean, we always have interesting discussions, but today specifically, we're covering like a hot button issue, I'd say. If you're on the internet a lot, you would have heard of this guy called Derek Jackson. I would probably by the time this comes out, we're probably a couple of weeks late, from like when this thing blew up, but basically, if you don't know, so there's this relationship expert called Derek Jackson, who had quite a high following on Instagram, and he released a video where he basically confessed to infidelity with his wife sitting next to him. And there was quite a strong and visceral reaction to that video, basically because he confessed to something which didn't make sense. It was basically contrary to what people believed he was representing. And also there was Sure.
We ain't even started.
I mean, we're trying to just slowly get into this, but Ruby doesn't have time. Ruby does not have time, okay? So, okay. I think he exposed himself to be a fraud. And I think, though, the thing that really because a lot of his following are women and a lot of his advice was geared towards women, was the fact that it was really the first time for many people to find out, A, that he was married, and B, what his wife looked like. And she was sitting next to him. And there were just a lot of question marks. And then because of the visceral reaction that people had to seeing her and what their assumptions were about why was she there, why did she agree, why was her husband using her, etc.
Why was she wearing that bonnet?
Now making a judgment call on her. And then she did her own video. So basically what we're going to talk about is some of the themes that we pulled out from that video. Not the themes, but honestly the questions I had, because after watching that video, a couple of disclaimers. We are not making any pronouncements on why people stay in and out of relationships or marriages where there's been infidelity. We know it's a really complicated issue, so to each your own. And none of us are really here to tell people what to do. But what we're really looking to explore is the mindset that we've observed that at times that Christian women, at least in this case, because she called herself a Christian woman, the mindset that they have, and sometimes they expose when it comes to talking about these issues of infidelity, because that's what the video is about, the mindset, the rationalizations, whether it's good or bad. So these are some of the things that we're going to talk about. But ladies, before we really dig into the questions, I mean, when you watch that video, what struck you? Like what
of her?
Feel her, what she was saying, whatever.
Rumbi? Since you have such strong...
No, start.
Oh. Okay, yeah, so yeah, disclaimer, these are our opinions. This is not gospel.
And by the way, sorry, I made a mistake. I was frustrated because all the articles just had the husband's surname and the husband's name and not the wife.
The wives.
Her name's Danae Jackson. So yeah, that's her name. Go for it, Sonia.
Danae. So yeah, these are our opinions, guys. We ain't saying this is fact or gospel, but our perception or experience through this. So watching that video, honestly, I did not get a sense of a human being. I felt
Facts.
I felt like I was watching a robot or someone with a script or I don't know. I can't explain it, but I really could not connect with the essence of her being. I really couldn't, and it was weird. It was just so weird. The whole thing was weird. From the way she was dressed, to the things that she was saying, there was no connecting of dots to the experience with her husband. She was just spewing things, rattling things off the top of her head that she has analyzed, but making it practical to a situation, I struggle to connect those dots. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Almost like in a trance. She seemed to be almost in a trance. Then I don't know if it was just me watching the video, but I heard like kids slamming doors and whatever, and she did not even blink an eye. Like she was just still here with the camera. And I was like, girl. But yeah, definitely. I think one could say it almost kind of seems a level of desperation, like to that point where you're holding on to a marriage on the last straw, like you're doing whatever you can and you're pulling at whatever you can to be like, it's you people, you haters who don't know God. I'm fighting for my marriage and you guys are coming at me like this. So for me, it read someone who's been through the most, the wire. And she's probably grappling within herself, her faith, what she's been taught about marriage, about a woman and her position in a relationship. This man, and obviously the toxicity of this man, being, so unscrupulous. That's not even the word. He's loose. He's a loose man. And like him, like all these things, but trying to hold it together, trying to do the right thing. It's probably doesn't feel right, but she's trying to force that. And that's what I sensed.
I think, I'm not gonna lie, like my heart, like, I felt sad, I was like, so what is she, I mean, like Sonia and I were chatting just a bit before we started the recording, like the theology wasn't necessarily wrong, like what she was saying about spiritual attacks and how you need to fight it, like you don't fight things, you fight spiritual things spiritually, in the spirit and things like that, and for those of you who believe or Christians, I mean, that the theology was not necessarily wrong. But the question I had when I was watching it, why it saddened me, I was like, the question I had is this the rationalization that she's had to use to make it okay to stay, right? And connecting that to, look, honestly, the teachings that a lot of us get, be it in religious spaces and cultural spaces, but generally the onus is on the woman to maintain, to uphold, to explain everything in the home.
Justify.
When things are great, the man is doing well. When things fall apart, what is the woman doing? What kind of a household is it? And even though she's honestly the one that's being betrayed, suddenly it switches to her having to explain it and defend it.
By the way, he deleted his video of confession. He had that video where he was gripping her hand like he's about to break it. He deleted that video of him, like the confession. Then he deleted the video because he then did a review because he's a
reviewed. Yeah, he reviewed his own.
And then he reviewed himself in the third person. Yes.
I'm like, sure,
and then sold his book at the end of that video. I was like, this is too much. So he deleted those two videos. So if you go to his page, it looks like none of that happened.
Yeah, nothing happened.
But his wife
is not tagged.
Yes. And he released, there's a book. He just released a book. She's on the cover. But where's she at that? But on her page, or whatever the page that Danea, whatever page that is,
Yeah.
her video is still up soldiering. So she's fighting the wrong person, A. She's fighting the world instead of fighting this man. It's like, and when I say fighting, I don't mean like beat this man up and be like, why did you do this? It's like, have that conversation. Why would you do this? How could you do that? The anger is at the wrong, she's channeling her anger in the wrong way, you know. It should
But think about it though, Rumbi, because if we have rationalized that, I mean, there's many things we get told, like, you know, when you're about to get married, you know, this is how men behave. This is how it is up to you and that's in religious and cultural spaces. Think of all the bridal showers we have attended and the things that the aunties tell us, right? So it's so we can see how we probably think like this in some kind of a way. We're probably, I mean, she probably just showed a really more extreme version of that. So sure. I think for me, yeah, go Sonia.
No, what I was gonna say, no, I agree. I think what I will say, based on also this tweet that Larissa shared with us, is I definitely thought that way at some point, for sure. You've grown up in that environment. I was a good Christian church girl. Like that's the vibe I get. So that's what I mean by she seemed inhumane, like a robot, because I remember once having a chat with a guy friend.
Your volume.
Sonia, your volume is dipped.
I don't know what's happened. Are you using your earphones?
She doesn't use the earphones. We can't hear you. Like, it's like your mic has gone out.
Yeah, it's like.
Wait.
Okay, so then now it's come back.
Now.
Go for it.
So yeah, I was saying, you know, like I you know, while I was in that phase of good Christian girl, following the rules, like when I'm into something, I go in, you know, like no playing games. And I really just soaked in everything I was taught. And he said to me, you know, it's almost like you're not human. There's a level of relating that doesn't really quite happen.
Sorry, Sonia, just start that sentence again, because you said he said to me, but your volume was going up and down. So just start from, I was speaking to a guy friend of mine about XYZ, and then continue your thought.
Okay. So I was speaking to a guy friend of mine, and he was saying to me, you know, something about you is you're not relatable, you know, there's a sense of like you're not really human. And I remember the time it really hurt me hearing that, you know. I didn't understand because I was doing my best. You know, I thought I was doing what I was taught to do. And, you know, so yeah, I should be great. Like, therefore, things should be translating, but they weren't. And I think that's what I meant by she seems like a robot, or like there's just a barrier that you can't penetrate with her. And it's because you really just believe what you've been taught and what you're saying. So in a way, I can empathize with that. I can see where that's coming from, for sure. And I think it's just at some point that no longer can be enough, you know, but that's not for all of us, I suppose. Not all of us.
True. I mean, I guess the question I have, you know, because maybe I have this single girl bias, you know, because I'm not married, so I don't understand. Because I've had married friends say to me, like, infidelity is not a deal breaker for them in marriage, you know, because of the time you've put into this relationship, how long you've been with this person, you have children. It's a lot, you know, despite maybe the bad things that may happen, the hurt you may cause each other, the thought of having to pull that apart, even though that's probably the best thing, it's almost easier to stay in what you know.
Yeah,
that's
you
true.
know.
That's true.
So
it's
I
more
wonder,
comfortable, for sure.
You know, so I guess my question is, I wonder, like, what's the difference between, like, being spiritually sound and but still, it's like it's like you can't have both. That's the perspective I had growing up, being spiritually sound and choosing yourself. Like the way we were taught growing up, honestly, a lot of the time, as the woman, you are the one who's always on the line. You're the one who's going to sacrifice more, you know? And not saying that husbands don't in marriages, but generally, you know, that's the perspective. You're the one who's got to pick up your life. You're the one who's got to give up your name. All of these adjustments that you need to make. We also know times are changing, but generally, at least for me, that's how I grew up understanding how these things go, you know? Yeah, what do you guys think about that? Rumbi, sorry, you had something to say.
Yeah, I was going to say with regards to, you know, it's not a deal breaker. I think too, it's also the person you're dealing with. And there has to be a level of like remorse, a level of like a changed person making a shift, doing the work, representing themselves. Like, I know I faulted. This guy, I'm sorry, I feel like we're giving Danae, that's her name.
Yeah.
So much, people give so much flack. Derek, for me, I was like, why are we not here? Because he had zero remorse. He kind of was just like matter of facting it. Like, I slept with, and it wasn't the matter of, and he just, I was about to say it in short, and I was like, up at this day. She came guns with the spirit helmet of truth and the breastplate. I was just like, hey. So for me, there's a difference. And I understand, like, we cannot paint and judge and say, oh, you should never, like, you know, oh, hell no. You know? But I think where there's a lack of remorse, that is where the problem is. And I think that's the issue in all of this, is she's defending someone who he looked like, I mean, I did it. Yeah, sure. Oh, I've been caught. Let me just do the video thing. And why did he delete it? That's my question.
Because for me, it seemed like, you know, I didn't want to dig into that because a lot of people have talked about how much of a trashy human being he is, and I genuinely feel like he is. I think he was managing his brand, or everything he was doing is to manage his brand, because he knows he sold this certain image, and that's how he's been able to sell, make money, and everything. And now. That's been brought into question, and you know how people are. Once they cut you out, like, the cancel culture is real, but in this case I feel like cancel culture is very much valid, you know.
Hallelujah.
You know, it also made me think about sometimes this whole industry of relationship advice. You know, so I
canceled my subscription to that, guys. I'm sorry. When someone comes up and, hey, I'm a relationship expert. Ain't nobody relationship expert. Like, guys, we're all figuring it out. And also, it's context, right? What works for you?
Relationships are so different.
It's not necessarily going to work for me. And I think, you know, there's nothing wrong with sharing your experiences and what has worked, because people can choose to take what works based on what you've shared and leave, right? So please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we shouldn't share our opinions or valuable lessons, because that's what I do as a life coach, right? However, what I'm saying is I find it dangerous, or it's a red flag for me when someone essentially makes themselves the god of that stuff, like my way or the highway type of thing. And
these are the steps too.
Yes, 5 ways to a healthy relationship, especially when it comes to those type of dynamics. It's a bit more complicated. You know? I don't know.
But to your, sorry, Larry. No, go for it. To your question about, you know, does religion allow for you to choose yourself, like between the choice? You had a question about choosing self or saving or holding the fort or whatever it is, holding down the family. It doesn't. And it's, if you look at how women who've chosen themselves are spoken about, and I'm talking even culturally, there's a lot of stigma around, oh, she sleeps with other women's husbands. There's a lot of talk around liberated women. And there's this push to hold the family together. You can't be saying this is, you know, and I think it is a matter of that, because we are taught in church the devil is trying to destroy the family, the unit. So you're like, I have to sacrifice myself for the family. But how many, and talking to people who've been raised in difficult family homes and, having conversations or hearing, you hear this, that sometimes it's like, it would have been better if that family disintegrated than for it to continue, as it were, because when you choose yourself for a healthier situation, you inevitably become a better parent, co-parent, partner, whatever you are, because it's based on health. But when you choose to stay based on fear, based on stigma, based on how perception or what would people say, it leads to a very detrimental relationship, or it's very hard to undo a lot of that toxicity. And I think that is it is what it is. But unfortunately, it comes at a cost and a price. And unfortunately, often at the price of the woman. Also, a woman being told, at least you got a man. There's a lot of women out here who don't have. You should be grateful for what you have. He takes care. Blah, 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 you know this.
Yeah. And I guess, look, and I think we haven't come to really understand how damaging, and we like to say toxic, but like really destructive environments are to you as a person, to your children. Like, we don't talk about those things enough. Like, everyone talks about how you need to maintain the structure because, we need to maintain.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
You need to maintain this thing. But if this thing is not the standard, it's not God's standard. Nor does God say this structure at any cost. I mean, nowhere does he say that,
Absolutely.
And I think for me, the sad part also is that she comes out defending something that, honestly, whether or not she was going to forgive him, it's whatever, right? Like, that's completely up to her. But if I'm her, why am I out here defending your name? You're the one who's done this. You're the one who's
problem with the whole situation.
Right. So he's the one who acted outside of the bound of marriage. He's the one who betrayed. And so she is, and I think that's why I was like, there are many interesting things here for her, because so you're defending your honor, you're defending your family's name, and I understand it's your family, so you want to protect it. But I'm like, no, but he's the guy who exposed you to this. Even if you love him, you can love someone and still be mad at them. Like, we had a deal, or we're married. These are the vows that we agreed to before God. Yes, life happens, but it looks like this guy's been consistently doing
it's been a run, it looks like.
And he has her out there looking crazy. And
Dude.
it just reminds me of all the show. You remember The Good Wife? That show, such a good drama.
Yes.
But just think of all the media the media outlets
training.
All these media
Never
briefings
watched
you
it.
see. No, oh girl, it's so good.
It's very good.
7 seasons, you find it, it's really good. Just think of all the media briefings where man cheated and women's there standing with him. Never mind in the media, even in our church spaces, everybody knows that so and so has cheated. Everybody knows that so and so elder got that young girl pregnant in the church, but they're showing up as a family, matching outfits, and you're like, as a unit, and the woman is like, don't you dare, I'm like, what are we doing? What are we teaching? What are we? And I guess I mean, grounding back to this question is, why is that seen as godly? Because for me, that's a lie.
Yeah,
for me,
that's such a lie. Please, can I just have my response? I know Sonia has, deep things to share here. I'm just,
she's always deep like that.
Center.
Yeah.
Look at Beyonce and Jay-Z. Not one moment did Beyonce come sit at some interview holding Jay-Z's hand like, yes, but we're working through it. She went and made money off his infidelity. She was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get this back.
Make some money.
And what you going to do is going to go on a media press tour and explain your ratchet ways and own up to that. Then
if you going to stay with me, if you are going to, and if I'm going to stay with you.
She's like, I'm going to use it as art, but you are going to walk around and solve this issue.
Because my whole issue is, just to pick up on that, I really like that, because what I've picked up on is sometimes as Christians, we live in a bubble and in the theoretical space, and we expect those theories and those what do they call it again? I haven't been to church in so long.
Doctrines.
Yeah, to solve all our problems, right? But we live in 3D reality, guys.
Yeah.
To solve problems, you need to be problem oriented. Like you need to think out like practically about what's going on. And you need to acknowledge how you feel. You need to acknowledge the wrong as it is.
And honestly, sorry, just to quickly jump in. And I think sometimes Christians misrepresent the word, because throughout the Bible, you see the full gambit of emotions. The book of Psalms, you see David like really emotional. He's crying, but then he's really strong. And men and women throughout, you see even God, he gets emotional, he gets angry, he's happy, he
gets jealous.
You know? And even
he cuts people off. That's all I'm saying. He cuts people off.
Right. And we even see there are tools for resolving conflict. So anyway, sorry, I just wanted to because we don't want to misrepresent and say that the word doesn't give any guidance. I think what we
that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is the interpretation.
Yeah.
We look and we take the word and we don't use it the way that we were told we are supposed to. We expected to do the work for us. God never said the word shall set you free. No, the truth shall set you free.
And what do you do with that truth? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's how we interpret and use the tools that we have been given. I think that's where we struggle. That's what sort of trips us up,
Yeah. And oh gosh, I feel like time has flown. I guess this is probably a part one of a conversation, but we really just wanted to introduce the idea and here, look, really our intention is really not to malign the lady, Dana Jackson, not to malign her, but I think her. I think I saw myself in her just in terms of being a girl who's grown up in the Christian world and the responsibility that's put on us as women, to maintain, uphold, make sure the family stays together at all costs, and generally off the back of your body, your happiness, your life.
And I'm not the one who had fun cheating. That's all I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there.
This is the thing, so that's what we really wanted to explore. And I don't know, ladies, if there's anything else you really wanted to share, any thoughts that you really wanted to share that we didn't get to cover, Sonia?
Yeah, I just think I'm tired, I'm just tired of, as a Black African Christian woman, having to carry the results, the consequences, and the whatever in between,
and then to resolve
of life, and fix it
all by yourself,
and still look bomb while doing it.
And still look good, and still look holy and churchy and praise Jesus. No, I'm human, guys, and I also need some taking care of, and I also need some help, and I will mess up, and you can also step up.
And let's see remorse, let's see making amends, let's see you as a man feeling the cost of your actions, because it's what about your children, what about it just doesn't, I mean, the way he was talking, it seems like it was just about really he was fighting to maintain his business and his brand. I mean, look, maybe that may also be the concept. Maybe he's the only breadwinner. The only breadwinner. So that is a reality.
Should have thought about that before stepping out. I'm just saying.
This is true.
Sure.
No, I mean,
excuse.
No, but she's right. Rumbi is absolutely right. One of us has to be real, all the way real. So, but guys, look, thank you. This is just really a short conversation. Let us know what you think. Hey, I've definitely been having private conversations with different friends around this. Let us know what you think. Let us know. your thoughts, comment, like, the jazz. As always, it's always a huge and immense
There's
honor and
not much
pleasure
to think. Man's is trash. That's it.
get it together.
Get it together. Cut some
But
sister some slack. That's all I'm saying.
girl, like make sure, like send her on a holiday, spa
Yeah.
treatments. Let her let her
Dude.
time
She
by
didn't need to
herself.
be on screen for anything, for anybody, for anything.
Told us to say we love being here and talking these issues right here on the camera. And God bless. Take care. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.